Hello, Simmers. We're back. Some more Cocytus River Rats Draft to Glory franchise mode in FHM 11. And in this one, we have the playoffs of year number 10, starting out against the Detroit Red Wings, who are 53, 26, and 3 on the regular season. So it should be a good one, as we just barely made the playoffs, and they're sitting there second in the league. We are unfortunately starting the playoffs without Blake Baxter, who is injured, but he's day-to-day, so he should be back fairly soon. So we're going to get right into this. And also, Hakanson is suspended for one more game. So that all being done, let's get into game number 1 against the Detroit Red Wings, and the logo is fixed, so that's good to see. Let's get right into it. Sim game, that will be a 3-1 win for the Detroit Red Wings. Shots are 30-23 in favor of your Cocytus River Rats. 3 stars of the game are Kessler, Denoye, and Raymond. First period, Lucas Raymond scores on the power play for them, makes it 1-0. Then it's Kyle Masters on the power play to make it 2-0. Second period, Kyle Masters with a 3-0 goal. And then in the third period, our lone goal of the game, Caleb Denoye scores from Bouchard and Ellefson to make it a 3-1 Detroit victory. All right, come on, guys. Game number 2, big game number 2. That'll be a 4-3 Detroit victory. Shots are 42-25, so we're out shooting them here in these games, but they are outscoring. 3 stars of the game are Harvey, Spelkvist, and Prodovsky. First period, Denoye scores first from Stenberg and Bouchard to put us up 1-0, but then it's Ben Harvey with the goal to make it 1-1 heading into the second period, where it's McKenna with the goal early in the second period from Ellefson to make it 2-1, but then it's Prodovsky to make it 2-2, and then Spelkvist from Kotyarvi to make it 3-2, but then Harvey scores again, and we're going back and forth here for the 3-3 goal heading into the third period, whereas Lucas Raymond with the game-winning goal for Detroit to put them up 2-0 in the series. And the good news is that Blake Baxter is now back, so we'll definitely be getting him in there for game number 4, but we are unfortunately in a bit of a hole here. But we do take game number 3 with a 3-2 victory. Shots are 60-32 in favor of your Cocytus River Rats. So we are definitely, there is no question about it, we are dominating in terms of offensive possession, right? But I guess those first 2 games, they had some quality shots there. That is a dominating performance, at least in terms of possession and overall offensive pressure. 3 stars of the game are Wotherspoon, Pelosi, and Orr. First period, no scoring. Second period, Pelosi with the goal for Detroit to put them up 1-0. But then it's McKenna with 8 seconds left from Spelkvist and Hakanson to make it 1-1 hanging in the third period, where it's Wotherspoon with the goal from Neuenschwander and Baxter to make it 2-1. But then it's Rosick on the power play to make it 2-2. And we head into overtime, where Tyson Orr scores from Wotherspoon and Andreev to make it a 3-2 victory for your Cocytus River Rats. And we're down 2-1 in the series. But we're in it. We're still in it. That's the important thing. All right, here we go. Game number 4. That will be a 3-2 Detroit victory. And we are now down 3-1 in the series. Shots are 37-33, so they outshoot us for the first time this series, I believe. 3 stars of the game are Bucher, McKenna, and Kettles. First period, McKenna scores first from Hakanson and Spelkvist to make it 1-0, but then it's Raymond in the second period to make it 1-1. Third period, Vananen scores from Stenberg to make it 2-1, but then it's Bucher 15 seconds later, late in the period, to make it tied at 2, and we headed to overtime, where Bucher scores again to get Detroit the game-winning goal, and we're now down 3-1 in the series. You don't like to see it, especially with the amount of offensive pressure we've been putting on in this series. So here we go into elimination game number 5. We got to win this one. Here we go. And as the first goal of the game for Detroit, that'll be a goal for Rosick to put them up 1-0. We're out shooting them 10-5 so far. All right, that's the end of the first. Heading into the second, and there was no scoring in the second period. So heading into the third now, and that is a goal early in the third period for Tyson Orr, unassisted. And we have a game 2-1. Elton Hermanson from Carlson and Hakanson. Come on, guys. 3-1. There it is. Vananen with the unassisted goal. And are we going to a game 6? So hold on a minute. Rocco Pelosi with 9 seconds left. Anything could happen. And that'll be it. We take game number 5. We're headed to game number 6. Shots are 32-26 in favor of Cocytus. 3 stars of the game are Vananen, Graham, and Hakanson. All right, here we go. Game number 6. We're on home ice. Let's get it done. Let's take it to 7. And there it is. There's our first goal of the game. Andreev from Ellefson and Spelkvist makes it 1-0. Come on, guys. All right, that's a solid first period. We didn't let up a goal, so we're up 1-0 heading into the second period. Shots are 11-3, so once again, out shooting them. Let's keep it that way. Oh, there's a goal for them. Coots with the goal to make it 1-1, and there's 2-1. Kyle Masters on the next shot after that, but Andreev scores his second of the game from Stenberg and Spelkvist to make it 2-2. And there's 3-2. Bouchard with his first of the playoffs from Anisimowicz and Neuenschwander halfway through the second period. Heading to the third, up by 1. And there's a goal for Detroit. Ben Harvey. There's another one for Detroit. Kakinen makes it 4-3. Come on, Cocytus. Get me one more. At least one more. And there's a goal for Detroit with 52 seconds left. Max Graham. And that will just about do it as Braden Coots gets the dagger at the end. And that'll be a 6-3 loss. And we are out in the first round. Yep, unfortunate. Unfortunate for sure. Shots at 35-25 in favor of Cocytus River Rats. 3 stars of the game are Masters, Kettles, and Kakinen. Yeah, definitely not what I expected this year after having the kind of year that we had last year. After we had a 117-point season and made it to the second round. But yeah, this season we certainly did not live up to expectations, that's for sure. So I suppose we'll take a look at the player stats for the playoffs before we move on here. You have Kadachev in 6 games played with an 886 save percentage and a goal saved above average of 4.89. Actually, is that for the regular season? Yeah, that's for the regular season. I don't know why it does this. So definitely disappointing from Kadachev. Let's take a look at the skaters. 5 points for Spelquist leads the way. Then you have McKenna, Andreev, Bouchard, Hakanson, Ellefson, and Stenberg all with 3. Denoye, Orr, Vananen, Wotherspoon, and Neuenschwander all with 2. And then Hermanson, Baxter, Anisimowicz, Kutayarvi, and Carlson all with 1. And then Menhart, Kapustin, Zerker, and Krivenek, and Pellizzari all with nothing. So now I suppose there's not really much left to do except simulate ahead and see who wins the Stanley Cup. And your 2033-34 Stanley Cup champions are the Anaheim Ducks. This is their second championship. They last won in 2007. They went through New Jersey, Calgary, New York, and New York, the Rangers and the Islanders consecutively. Kapustin wants $3 million for 2 years. I'll give it to him, but he really hasn't impressed me so far. Even though he's only 22, he's been really underwhelming in his 3 seasons here. 36 games played, 9 points, 35 games played, 7 points, 48 games played, 13 points. Really not much there. Then you have Denoye, who wants $6 million for 3 years. He's 27, 38 points last year in 77 games played. He had 57 the year before. I'll see if I can take him down a bit. And I got him down to 5.43 for 3 years. I think I'll do that. Then Wotherspoon, he had 26 points last year, 33 the year before. He's never played a full season in the NHL in his, 5-6 years? Yeah, 6 years here. He has played a maximum of 68 games played in any given season. He wants 4.6 for 3 years. And I only got him down to 4.38. Yeah, I'll give it to him. Then you have Frolov, who wants to test the market. Okay, so I guess that settles that. And as for Bystrom, he wants 1.5 for 2 years. May as well, since we're losing Mr. Frolov there. But there's also Nyberg, who we could call up. So I think I'll do just that. And now it's time for the awards. For the Ted Lindsay, you have Zilis Gabriel of Boston, who's a 5-star ability, 23 years of age, 46 goals, 46 assists for 92 points this season. Looks like a good player there. For the Art Ross, it is Max Penkin of Anaheim, who has 46 goals, 55 assists for 101 points. Then the Maurice Richard also goes to Gabriel. The Lady Byng Trophy goes to Jamie Ferguson of Winnipeg, 21 years of age, so a little bit of a youth movement going on here in the NHL now. 28 goals, 60 points in 75 games played. For the Bill Masterton, it is Kent Johnson of Columbus. He had 24 goals, 76 points this year. And for the Mark Messier Leadership Award, it is Riker Kessler of Detroit, who of course is not their captain, but had 36 goals and 85 points this year after having only 17 points the year before in 43 games played. And then for the Jennings Trophy, you have Love Harenstam of Pittsburgh, who in 69 games played had 45 wins, 8 shutouts, and a .917 save percentage. And now for the Hart between Bedard, Gabriel, and Bauer, it is Zilis Gabriel of Boston. And for the Conn Smythe, it is Pavel Mintyukov of Anaheim with 20 points in 22 games played. And for the Calder between Parker McMillan, Kari Polka, and Alexei Vlasov, it is Parker McMillan of Vancouver with 54 points in 80 games played. For the Norris Trophy between Henry Solheim, Andre Wero, and Zane Perrick, it is Henry Solheim of LA with 72 points. For the Selkie between Gavin Brindley, Danny Nelson, and Gunnar Conboy, it is Danny Nelson of Vegas with 29 points. For the Vezina between Yakov Kazantsev, Pontus Bergstrom, and Carson Bjarnason, it is Carson Bjarnason of Florida with a .922 save percentage and 6 shutouts in 61 games played. GM of the Year between Sean Horkoff, Chris Drury, and Bill Zito, it is Sean Horkoff of Pittsburgh with 57 wins. And for the Jack Adams between Jeff Halpern, Jim Slater, and Stu Bickle, It is Stu Bickel of Pittsburgh. All right, now let's see some prospect signing deadlines. You have Zelitis coming up. Definitely want to sign him. I'll sign Winters as well. I'll sign Nyberg and the Asseltines. Then I think I will let everybody else walk there. And then these three on our upcoming FAs list, Frolov, Frollo, and Voigt are also all getting released. Well, actually, Voigt is on auto-qualify, but Frollo and Frolov are both getting released to free agency. I think I'll sign Nascali as well. And here's the 2033-34 season summary. We reached the playoffs and had a winning season. Longevity bonus of 9. Total season score of 24. Total career score of 175. 4 available points. I'll max out discipline and I will start working on coaching ratings. So I will put 3 into tactics. All right, Pascal Vincent is up for renewal. Should we renew him? Well, he had a really good season 2 years ago, and he did get us out of that rut and to where we are now. So I would like to give him the benefit of the doubt, although last year was a little shaky for my liking. Okay, but 1 season is an option here. So I think I'll give him 1 more season just to see what he does next year. But if we get off to a shaky start and if the playoffs are kind of in question at some point, let's say halfway through the season, if the playoffs are in question, then we might have to consider firing Vincent, because this team is, as it is anyway, as it is right now, is very good. We're no longer in a rebuilding state. We're no longer struggling to scrape together talent. This is a very talented team now. This is a very talented team. There's no reason why we should not be, at the very least, securely in a playoff spot. Okay, so currently where we're at, July 1st, 26 players in the roster, salary cap of nearly 91 million. That's over the cap ceiling. So we're going to have to get rid of somebody here. You have Kadachev and Nyberg in goal. On defense, you have 7. You have Bouchard, Ellefson, Baxter, Pelazari, Kodiarvi, Hakanson, and Krivonek. And then at forward, that means we have to get rid of 3 forwards. I think I wouldn't mind unloading Anisimowicz. He's making 5 mil, only had 12 points last year in 55 games played. And let's see, what does he want? His new contract? He wants to test the market. All right, so that makes it an easy decision. I suppose we'll place him on the trade block. And actually, while I'm at it, may as well see what these other guys want. McKenna, he wants nearly 8 mil for 5 years. Vananen wants 5.5 for 3 years. Hermanson, what does he want? He wants to test the market. All right, I suppose we'll be placing him on the trade block as well. We cannot afford to have that kind of value go to waste there. Pelazari, he wants 5 mil for 3 years, and that's all for the big names. So Anisimowicz and Hermanson are definitely getting traded here at the draft, but we'll still need to unload 1 more. I think I will extend McKenna right away here. I'll start at 6.5. I'll see if I can take him down as much as I can. All right, I got it at 7.2 for 5 years. That's not bad. That's not bad for McKenna. I will absolutely do that for him. And then Vananen, this is a good deal for him as well. I'll try to get him down to 5 mil. Not sure if that's going to happen, though. All right, I did get him down to 5.24 for 3 years, so I will do that. And then Pelazari, he's been a good player for us. He had a 64-point season back a few years ago, but unfortunately has not returned to that form since. And I would imagine that's just because he has, so many other guys ahead of him on the defensive chart. Now with Bouchard, Ellefson, and Baxter, he doesn't need to carry all that load now, but I do think I want to re-sign Pelazari here. And I managed to get him down to 4.74 for 3 years. And here we are at the draft lottery. Let's see what the order is. At number 17, you have Utah, followed by Winnipeg, LA, Chicago, Columbus, Pittsburgh, Dallas, Philly, Ottawa, Minnesota, San Jose, Edmonton, St. Louis at number 5, Boston, so Colorado moves up, Nashville at number 3, and at Colorado at number 2, and Washington takes the first overall pick. All right, here we go to the draft. So it looks like we have at least a stronger draft class this year than we did last year for sure. Not bad, honestly. There's a 2-star ability already in Ryan Williams. He's projected to go first overall, so I can't imagine we're getting him. But we do keep in mind, we do have Calgary's first-round draft pick from this year as we traded for it previously. So we have number 19 and 25 in this year's draft. However, before we get the draft started, I do want to see if I can trade Hermanson and Anisimowicz. Okay, so I think I found an interesting trade here with Dallas, who is currently set to pick, I believe it's 13th. So that said Hermanson, Anisimowicz at 50% of his salary retained, our first round pick. So I believe that would be is it the 19th or the 25th? I'm not sure. I think it might be the 19th. Let's see where Calgary finished. I mean, in terms of regular season record, they had us beat. Okay, we could do a second and a third as well. We do a second and a third and a seventh, along with Hermanson and Anisimowicz. Then coming back the other way, you have Seamus Casey, who's just in there for contract purposes. I will be sending him straight to the AHL. He will not get any use. And then the main attraction here, of course, is Dallas's first round pick in this year's draft. So Hermanson, Anisimowicz at 50% of his salary retained, a second, third, and a seventh for this year's draft in exchange for Casey's contract, and a first in this year's draft. Offer trade finalized. There it is. And now, of course, I will send down Casey. And in fact, I think I will just buy him out. So we now have, it's actually the 11th pick in this year's draft. So we have 11, 19, and 25 in the first round. That's not bad. At least in this draft, it doesn't seem like that's going to be a bad selection there. So let's simulate ahead and see who's available for us at number 11. And it seems Ryan Williams did indeed go first overall to the Washington Capitals. So you have a couple 3.5-star potential goaltenders here in Pulak and Craig. Not really too interested in them. You have a defenseman in Beaudry, who's a 1-star defenseman, 3-star potential. There's also Daniel Stanek, who's the 1.5-star ability, 2.5-star potential. But the weakest part of his game is his intangibles, and he's a center. We don't exactly need centers. Peter Chasuk, if he's on a roster, controversy will follow, and he's got the AD scouting grade. No thanks. Controversy will follow. No thanks. Liam Nygren, weakest part of his game is his intangibles. No thanks. Yeah, I think I might take Beaudry here. Even though he's got the AD scouting grade, he might still actually be the best player here. I kind of like Alexander Basilica here. Got the half-star abilities, 2.5-star potential, 3.5-star consensus potential. Projected to be picked at number 17. Strongest part of his game is his skating. Doesn't slack off in practice. Weakest part of his game is physical play, but even the worst aspects of his game are still relatively strong. Good personality. 29 points last year in the VHL in 63 games played. It seems like he's going to take a little while to get here, but I think he may very well be the pick here. I also like Tomas Cernovsky. He has very sturdy injury tendency. He will almost never get injured. Strongest player of his game is his playmaking ability as a defenseman, so he's an offensive defenseman. Outstanding stamina. Weakest part of his game is his goal scoring ability, but none of his weaknesses are a serious liability. His good personality, I like that. Very sportsmanlike. Never takes success for granted. Is very flexible and thrives on change, actually. I like David Vinterlich as well. Strongest part of his game is his defensive play, has excellent on-ice vision, a little stronger than most players, very good stamina, above average skater. Weakest part of his game is his goal scoring, but even the worst aspects of his game are still relatively strong. Pretty good personality as well. He's a little prone to controversy, that's a little concern, but for the most part, he looks like he could also be a good pick. I also like Fabian Nygren. He's a 1-star ability, 2.5-star potential, 3.5-star potential in the consensus. Projected to be picked at 20. Strengths, his strongest part of his game is his skating, pretty good stamina, dependable in practice. Skating ability is a positive, decent on-ice vision. Weakest part of his game is his physical play, but none of his weaknesses are a serious liability. I like his personality as well. Okay, I like Tyler Vandermeer as well. Got a good personality, strengths and weaknesses. His strongest part of his game is his intangibles. Physical strength well above average stamina, pretty good ability to read the play, and the weakest part of his game is his goal scoring ability as a defenseman, and then even the worst aspects of his game are still relatively strong. And he's got the 3.5-star consensus, even though he only has the 2-star team scouting potential. So he seems like he's a ways away from the NHL, but I do like him overall. Oh wow, Harry McVeigh, apparently projected to be picked at number 3, is still available as well. He's got the 2-star team scouting potential, but the 3.5-star consensus potential. Big game performer, love that. Strongest part of his game is playmaking ability, pretty good ability to read the play. Skating is excellent, a little stronger than most players, decent stamina. Weakest part of his game is his skating. So he is also going on the draft list. Then you also have Yawin Nowitzki, 3.5-star consensus potential, 2-star team scouting potential. Good personality, strongest part of his game is his playmaking ability, pretty good stamina. Won't miss a lot of games due to injury. Ready to learn. Pretty good ability to read the play. Weakest part of his game is his physical play, but even the worst aspects of his game are still relatively strong. Yeah, I like him as well. He's going on the draft list. Then you have Paul Pope, the 2-star potential. Good personality. Strongest part of his game is his playmaking ability. Very strong, willing to learn. Above average skater. Pretty good ability to read the play. And then weakest part of his game is his physical play and probably going to spend as much time in the trainer's room as on the ice. So he's not my first choice, but still a solid pick maybe for the middle rounds. I also like Martin Havranek here. He's a personality. Strongest part of his game is playmaking. Skating's pretty good. Not going to be pushed around. Pretty good vision on the ice. Weakest part of his game is his physical play, but even the worst aspects of his game are still relatively strong. He's got the 2-star team scouting and then the 2.5-star consensus. And then you also have Matt Waterhouse, who's 2.5-star consensus potential, 1.5-star team scouting. Strongest part of his game is his intangibles. Physical strength is above average. Can eat up a ton of minutes without wearing down. Decent on ice vision. Weakest part of his game is his physical play, but even the worst aspects of his game are still relatively strong. All right, so I think that's enough looking at the overall draft class. I've just been adding players to my draft list of players who I'd be willing to take. And I think out of all these guys, it may just be the fact that he was supposed to go third overall, or if he was at least projected to go third overall. But I really like Harry McVay here. Got a pretty good offensive category, 14 determination, got some good strengths and weaknesses. He's a big game performer. I like him. I like him a lot. And plus, we also need defensemen. So I think Harry McVay has to be the pick here for me. So Harry McVay, welcome to the Cocytus River Rats. And simulating up to pick number 19. And we still have most of these players available for us. Nygren is still available. But I also like Vandermeer for his intangibles. Well, you know, we have another first round pick anyway at number 25. So I think I'll take Nygren here with this pick because he got the 1-star ability already. And then hopefully Vandermeer is available still at number 25. So Fabian Nygren, welcome to the Cocytus River Rats. And he actually goes right after Liam Nygren. So simulating up to number 25. And it seems Vandermeer is indeed still available, so that's good. We will take him with his pick. Welcome to the Cocytus River Rats, Tyler Vandermeer. And now we're simulating straight ahead to the 4th round. And it does not seem that there are any players left on our draft list. No, there are not. Yeah, at this point, I think we'd have the CPU finish the draft because there's really not much that stands out to me here. So I'm going to see, I guess I'll just see if there's a team that really needs to fill up the cap here. I suppose if any team, it'd be Calgary. They're at 74 million. They also need defensemen, so this might work. And considering the fact that Casey was just, you know, on the trade for specifically to make it go through for his cap hit, I think we will send him to Calgary for a 7th round pick offer trade. And there it is. The Calgary Flames have accepted our trade offer of Seamus Casey for a 7th round pick, complete trade. And inducted to the Hockey Hall of Fame this year are Andrzej Kopitar, Patrick Kane, Keith Tkachuk, and Andrei Vasilevsky. All right, so we're here at the end of the preseason, and we're heading into year number 11 now, and this is our roster. In goal, you have Katachev and Nyberg. On defense, you have Bouchard, Ellefson, Baxter, Pellizzari, Kotajärvi, Hackinson, and Krivonek. And at forward, you have Andreev, Spellquist, who's now at a 4.5-star ability. McKenna, Stenberg, Vananen, Neuenschwander, Orr, Carlson, Zerker, Larson, Kapustin, Denoye, Wotherspoon, and Zalidis. So with all that being done, I think it's about time to end things off here. But not before, of course, I thank the channel members. Thank you guys so much for all your support. And I'll see you guys in the next one when we go through year number 11 with your Cocytus River Rats.